Thank you. Like I said just a minute ago, I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. So thank you for joining
Yeah.
us today. Paul and I
Appreciate
are
it,
really
guys.
appreciative of taking time out of your afternoon or morning to chat with us. Place any questions in the chat and we'll field as many as we can. And then at the end, we'll share our contact information where you can reach out to us if you have a longer question that you want to take offline. So just a little bit about ICND before we talk about ourselves, Paul, right? If you're not familiar with InterCoastal Net Designs, we are really focused on building the best websites and providing the best digital marketing services for the vacation rental industry. Tomorrow, so a little pre-birthday announcement, tomorrow is ICND's 24 years of service. We are independently owned still by Brandon Sauls, and we are so happy to be part of 24 years of being the thought leaders in this industry. We are also partners with Google, Microsoft, Meta, Pinterest, and some other various industry partners that we are happy to always talk to and bring to the table. So with that, Paul, tell me about yourself, Paul.
About Paul. So I've been in the game for quite a while. I ranked my first website on Yahoo before Google was even a thing. It was in its baby infantile form then. So that's how long I've been doing the SEO game. But in the vacation rental side, I actually started in 2006 working in-house for a vacation rental company in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So I did that for nine years, and learned everything I could about the industry, and worked with housekeeping, worked with the owners, worked with just pretty much everybody. You kind of know you wear a lot of hats whenever you're a vacation rental manager. So, but I did all the marketing for that company. So we're talking SEO, pay-per-click, email, social, fixing copying machines, stuff like that. And then I've been with ICND for about 7 years now, and you can regularly find me on soapboxes, and I have a couple during this presentation. So,
okay. Thanks for the warning. All right, so about myself, my name is Diamond Franson. I work for ICND in their brand manager capacity. I'm also the co-host of Vacation Rental Ninjas. So if you have not listened to the podcast yet, please make some time in your afternoon to go check out one of our latest episodes. I am a small business champion. I come from a small business background, really creative and out of the box thinker, and I can always be found online or on air handing out free marketing advice. So this is it. This is your opportunity to get all the free advice from both of us today.
Oh yeah.
So free stuff. So what we're going to learn today is basically a really quick basic primer on how SEO and PPC works, action items that you can implement without an agency. So that's really why you came here today, is you can learn what you can do on your own without needing an agency, and also marketing items that are better off kept in-house versus using an agency. So there's pros and cons of both, and we're going to review that with you this afternoon.
Yep. And us being, from an agency, we're trying to be subjective here as much as we possibly can. So, and honest, it's one of those things to where we don't want to sell you anything that you don't need. And just simple as that. And we hope you kind of get that takeaway from it.
Yeah, we're only here to kind of take things off your plate or suggest things that can be taken off your plate by an agency.
So we're going to start out with the SEO and pay-per-click side, and SEO is one of those things that I won't say it gets a lot of flack, but nobody knows really what it does or how it works. People call it anything
Magic.
From wizardry,
yeah,
wizardry, magic. Then we have the next one, which is witchcraft. But my favorite's the dark side of the force. That's probably the best one that I hear. So it's really not any of that. It is a lot of industry experience you have to have in order to know SEO, in order to really, really utilize all the Google algorithms and stuff like that. But the basic principles, they've been around since beginning of SEO. It really is fairly simple. Now, there is technical SEO, which is all the nerdy stuff. That stuff you guys won't really have to worry about too much. That's what an agency's for. But the other part is the proper content, and then the votes and endorsements from other websites, aka links. So we'll get more into these in a bit, but like that's really all there is to it. Now there's subtle nuances to every single one of those, and things do change, but this is from the beginning of time, how SEO works.
Nice. All right. So it all starts with keywords, right? And you want to make sure you're using the proper keywords for your location, your area, what you're selling, what you have to offer. And when we're looking at keywords, the right keywords may make or break you. So this is also considered on-page SEO. And we have here highlighted a few keywords. These are what people could be typing in to find you, right? So starts with your research, your keyword research. And when you're creating the content for your pages and you're considering these keywords, you want to use a mix of high volume and low volume or niche keywords. You can see here in the chart where large group vacation homes has a volume of 480 searches per month. And on the lower side, you have those large family reunions at 260 searches a month. So you want to use a mix of relevant keywords of high volume and those low volume or niche keywords.
Right. And the whole point of keyword research is to figure out what you want to go after, right? That's kind of the main goal with when you're doing any sort of SEO. SEO is about keywords and making sure that you show up for those keywords. So when you're working with an agency or anything like that, you do want to do that research. And I do want to particularly point out the large vacation rentals that sleep 30 or more. That's a very, very, very niche keyword that I just kind of uncovered, and that's got the same volume as the other ones. So you could probably easily win that game if you do have rentals that sleep 30 or more. But if you didn't know to make a page dedicated to something like that, then you might be losing the game as far as that keyword goes.
And also, when you're finding these keywords through keyword research, you want to make sure that these are the words that are on your content pages. It sounds simple enough, but somehow that gets forgotten.
Right. Right. Yeah, we see it a lot. If you want Google to rank your page for a certain keyword, you've got to have that keyword on there. SEO 101.
Yeah.
So the action item that we're going to have quite a few of these action items for you guys throughout the day, throughout the hour. But this is the first one. And then, so when you sign up with an agency, or even now, if you're working with another agency, ask them what keyword list that they found and they want to target, and then ask them to provide the volumes, just like on the previous slide. You want to see what their goal is, because if their goal is to rank your website, you need to know what they are ranking it for or attempting to rank it for. So see if those keywords even align with what your business has, what your expectations are. With being in an agency, we work with people all across the U.S., internationally as well, and the volumes are different. Villa, vacation rental, condo, house, those volumes are all different. Yeah, even accommodation when you go to Australia. So everything is different depending on where you're from, the vernaculars, and you have to do that research, and it makes a big difference. So ask for that keyword list.
Yeah. And like what I was talking about just a minute ago, if you are looking to rank, and of course we're all looking to rank, Google ranks pages, not websites. So, if someone says, I'm going to rank your website, well, more specifically, what pages inside of my website are you looking to rank? And then how are you going to do that? Is one of those qualifier questions I would pose out there for people to ask their agency. And we just mentioned a minute ago is create dedicated search results pages to rank for those keywords that you're looking for, that you want to use, and rank for anything you need to have a dedicated landing page. So again, you have to have those pages. It's just not your website as a whole. It's those individual pages that make up the rankings.
Right. And once you get, if you are an authority in the area, and well, let me back up. If you want Google to think you're an authority in the area, you have to cover everything about your area's vacation rentals. So if you have all of the checkboxes in Google's algorithm that thinks that's everything to do with the vacation rentals in the area, that gets your website more authority and your website to rank higher as each individual page. So there's again a lot to it, but this is again basic stuff that you guys can do, big or small, to make sure that you have these pages, and work with your in-house staff or work with your agency to get them. Wrong way.
Oh, going back in time. All right. So not all traffic is created equal. We just kind of saw that quickly before with the keywords. Blog posts can actually be an excellent source of traffic, but they don't make bookings directly. They help, Paul just mentioned being an expert of your area. So using your blog to talk about what's going on in your area, events that may be coming up, dinner, you have some landing pages here, Paul, like landing pages, dinner cruise, best hiking areas. Those are all things that guests can do while visiting your area and have great experiences. So those blogs can be useful to driving traffic to your site and then deeper in your site for those bookings.
Right. So the important thing to note is whenever, and we see this a lot, and blog posts are great. They're for that authority that I was talking about. You have to be an authority for your area. However, the caveat is, if your agency is saying, hey, we generated you, we increased your traffic 50% year over year. Okay, but look at all the zeros over there on the right-hand column under transactions. It's all zeros. Sure, you got me to rank for these blog posts and you got me a lot more traffic. That's great, but did it equate to more bookings? Not directly. So that's the thing that the part of the wool over your eyes thing that we want to uncover for you is ask what pages are ranking better, ask which keywords are ranking better. Not all traffic is created equal. So focus on the right traffic, and that's going to help you win your game when it comes to it. I'm going to just use that metaphor a lot. Win the game.
So, Paul, we did here, and I believe the question is more about tools. So the question is, you say do the research, correct? Where do I get the data from that supports any research? Where do I get the data Google is looking for? So I believe this is a question more about the tools itself that people can use.
Yeah, so there's quite a few. The good ones are paid ones. However, there are free ones out there that you can do your own keyword research with. But they only, and if you're doing ads, then you have the Google Ads Keyword Planner, which will allow you to do unlimited amounts of research. But as far as looking for keywords, there's SEMrush, which does have a free version. There's Neil Patel's SEO plugin. There's Ahrefs. Pretty much Keywords Everywhere is also another one that's really good. And even our favorite, which is more of a fun one, is answerthepublic.com. So answerthepublic.com is basically it kind of grabs everything that people have ever searched for in question format. We've got Myrtle Beach on the screen right now. So, what's the best place to get ice cream in Myrtle Beach? What's the best
coffee in Myrtle Beach? What's the best best place to rent a bike in Myrtle Beach or near Myrtle Beach?
The volume that does not provide the volumes for on Answer the Public, but it does give you some good insight as to what people are asking about the area. So you can kind of get some ideas.
And say, when you know what people are asking about the area, you can then write content behind that. You can create landing pages that answers those questions specifically. So it's a good way to kind of take a poll of who's asking what online about your area.
Right. All right.
So this was our action item that we just kind of talked about, but it's making sure you have dedicated pages for your top keywords and variations and the results. So like I just said, if there's a question posed, if you find a question out there that says, hey, what are the best bikes in the Myrtle Beach area, create a content page, create a landing page, create a blog, create something that will answer that question.
And most importantly, make sure you have pages dedicated to your inventory, the types of properties that you have. And I wouldn't do a page that just has one property listed. Make sure you have at least 3 or 4 before you build a dedicated page for it, because that also comes into play. And this helps with both SEO and pay-per-click. It's one of those that it brings your cost per click down when you're doing pay-per-click, all stuff like that. Again, tip of the iceberg stuff, but it'll definitely help, and at least get you primed for that when you do grow. It'll help the transition and better with the agency that you're working with. One of the new things too, though, which was really cool, your property pages themselves are super important, and they're much more important now than ever. I bet you pretty much any of you are using Airbnb or Vrbo, and you might have the property names might be masked on there. However, there are people that are smart enough to read outside the lines. They'll Google like a chunk of text from your description, or and then put it into Google to find out who you are. And back when there was property names themselves, we saw a 62% increase in our property pages on our websites as landing pages coming from Google. So people are Googling the names of these properties, and the whole book direct thing, it works. It's a thing. People are seeking you out. And if your property pages don't show up for the names of your properties when you type them in, that should really be step one, because that is an easy win to help somebody find you directly. I just said that.
Well, I was going to say, this is the action item. What Paul just laid out is take time, take a moment out of your afternoon or your week, and then Google some of your property names and find out where you are. If you're not number one, check the structure of those pages. Make sure, the meta titles, the page content, they all play a role in ranking those property pages. So if you find that your individual property pages are really buried, they're way far below the OTAs, discuss this with your agency and see how you can get those page structures improved a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, right, the popularity contest.
The popularity contest. This one we'll kind of blow through real quick. There isn't a lot that you can do about this one, but Google counts your website as, the more votes that it has, the more links that it has, which are the same thing, the higher it'll rank. It's not that black and white. There's bad links and good links, and there's the whole rigmarole of things that are way too complicated to go over in this short period of time. But the thing is like Google needs to know, or Bing or whatever AI tool is new and improved and whatever, but they need to know that you're a trustworthy source. And how are you a trustworthy source? Well, website XYZ links to you. That means that they're voting for you. They put weight in what you have to offer. So, I showed you before, blog posts don't necessarily make bookings, right? There's a whole bunch of zeros. Well, if you write a really good blog post and you get links from other places that link to that blog post, whether it's social media, another website out there, anything like that, that's
a local business.
Yep. Google My Business. Yeah.
So I was going to say a local business coach that shares that links to that blog.
Yep. So all that stuff, so links are votes in Google's eyes. Now, don't try to go get as many links as you can. There's a penalty for that. But, work with your local business and stuff like that. But if we let's back up real quick and just talk about what a link actually is. And basically, it's anything you can click on. You click on any sort of button, any sort of picture, any sort of Google search results. Those are all links. Anything that you click on that takes you somewhere else, even if it's on your same website, that's a link. And they can be hidden in, like I said, in pictures and alt text and all that stuff. So it's the basic principle there, but they hold all the power. It's kind of important to note as well, like, just because you have a link to a page That doesn't mean it's optimized. And again, this is stuff that you guys can go on your website and do. How many read more links do you have on your site? How many view links do you have, whether they're buttons or the word? Click here. Click here was super popular. Well, the problem with that is that you're not telling Google what's on the receiving page. That's the anchor text. Click here is useless. And actually, Google's tools kind of tell you that in Chrome. So make your links as descriptive as possible about what is on the receiving page. I'll give you an example of this for a bit. But these links pass weight from one another. This is a good example here. I just highlighted that the page doesn't look like this. I highlighted in yellow what the links actually are, but you can see they're not only there for the user to click on, beach houses or condos, local shops, dining. They're also there for Google to follow as well and see what your website is about. Like if you look at this right now and you see, this is definitely a link about local shops, 100%. That's what Google's going to think too. So it's kind of that simple logic that just have to kind of back up and think about, that those algorithms really, really like to see.
So I was going to say, to cap off this one, is time for an action item is create these internal links with keyword friendly anchor text from popular pages on your website. And, I'm always a fan of, if you want to move somebody to another part of the website, use the text in the button or the link, that says like how to, buy more or find bicycle rentals, or use something that's really descriptive to the person. It's not like a mystery of where you're going before you get there. You kind of have some information before you click that link, and create inbound links from local businesses. So a lot of companies have those local businesses that they refer out to for rentals or things to do or attractions to go. Create those inbound links from those local businesses to come back to your site. You're promoting them or their services in your recommendations, but also ask them for that link in return, to kind of close the circle between the two businesses there. Okay, everyone get your pencils. Get your pencils out. Everyone get your pencils out.
All right, I'll give you 3 seconds on this next slide.
Oh, okay.
Screenshot. Everybody hit the screenshot.
Everyone take that. This is the interactive portion, right, Paul? Everybody has interactive by taking a screenshot of this one.
Raise your hand if you know what 3 of these things are.
Oh no, that's not nice. I think I'm looking at our audience. I think our audience can define it. There's some good ones
on here. Yeah,
definitely.
So this is the stuff that that you would need an agency for, because there is history behind a lot of these things, and doing it right and doing the technical portion of SEO. This is the stuff that's over the top of the content and the links. And there's plenty of things that you have to worry about on your own rather than worrying about stuff like this. So, if you see anything like this or any of these words or anything, makes sense to you, talk to your agency about them. Some of these, it really depends case by case basis, but it's just the tip of the iceberg of things that we look at regularly, to make sure that your site does rank.
And you should, I know we're kind of laughing a little bit about like how long this list is, but these are things that your agency should be aware of. And even like Paul said, it's a case by case basis. So even if your site does not need or does not use some of these things on this list, or they still should be able to speak to you about them and the reasons why your site should use them or why your site should not use them. So these are just some basic vocabulary words, that you can use to vet an agency if you're talking with them. All right. The one thing that did not make the list, but is near and dear to all of our hearts, is GA4. Are you ready? And if you haven't heard, Google Analytics is sunsetting July 1, and it will be officially be replaced by GA4 or Google Analytics 4. So when you're looking to vet an agency or move agencies or go to an agency because you're scaling, does that agency have a plan in place to make the move to GA4? Now, it's happening July 1, so this may be irrelevant, after July 1, but this is a new interface with new code, new tracking, and so much more. That does your agency have a plan in place to prepare your analytics, and your site for the switch? And do they have a plan in place for reporting? That's, it's a whole new way to look at reports. So what is their plan? How can they assist you so you're not losing any data? And this was not a question that I got here today, but it's a question that I get very, very often. So I'm just going to take a minute to answer it, because somehow people always think of it is, Universal Analytics is leaving, and that has all of your previous year's data inside of it. And people say, Diamond, is Google going to backfill my GA4 with that data? And unfortunately, the answer is no. I'm sorry to have to say that, but Google will not backfill all your previous year's data into your GA4 account. So a question that you would like to ask your agency is, what is the data backup plan that you have for my data, or how much data do I need to save? And that's a question that can be answered. That's a unique question to be answered by your business, and how much data you maybe want to store, and if it's still relevant for you. So.
Yeah, definitely the first thing, get up when you get off this call, because July 1st is less than, you've got 30 days now. So
yeah,
probably the best advice for the GA4 would reach out to your agency, because it is something that needs to be set up. All right, so beware of SEO audits. That's our next main topic here. I see audits come through all the time, and these are kind of in this form, right? We all get these. We get them so much, found so many technical errors, and it's just one of those things that it's an easy prey if you don't really know what you're looking for or looking at. And audits really are scare tactics. And there's plenty of times, and I'll show you in a bit, there's plenty of times that these audits can misconstrue or lead you to believe something isn't right. So, when we talk about any sort of audit, these are both the SEO audits from SEMrush or Ahrefs, or there's Google PageSpeed, or just any other type of, you have errors on your site type of audits that people provide you, these programmatic audits. They do need a human face to explain what's going on. So just because you see a lot of red does not mean it's a bad thing.
I know I always fall victim to those late night audits. Like when you're up late at night and you're like doom scrolling through your phone, and then you serve some ad like, oh, audit, and I'm like, oh yeah. Somehow at 3 a.m, it always sounds much more appealing than at 12 p.m. to submit your information for one of those audits.
Right, exactly. So along those lines, you don't hire a hammer to build a house. You hire a builder who knows how to use one, right? And that's what the audits do. They'll point out things that may need to be fixed, may not need to be fixed. This is one of our websites. This is our audit.
Do you want me to build up your soapbox right now? Hold on, let me put it together for you. Okay. You're good. You're good.
So this is one of our sites. It's got 4,000 errors on it, 23,000 warnings, 38,000 notices, and they can be all itemized out. However, it ranks number 1 for the search term that we're going after, and it ranks within the top 4 for the sub search terms that we're also going after. These audits these algorithms are smart enough to look past some of this technical stuff that is, I want to say, causing these errors, but it looks more for what the user is really wanting, rather than what the best practices are that these audits are shoving in your direction. So that's what I meant by using the hammer. these audits are spectacular and they are great. However, they are scary and they are scare tactics. So have someone explain it to you before you actually go through that scary process. Ask if you do get an audit, ask your agency about it. What do you propose to fix and why? And how much time will it take? How much will it impact? We get forwards all the time from audits, those emails from both clients and non-clients saying, hey, fix all this. Okay, well, it's going to take us about 15 hours to completely rebuild everything, and we might have to charge you something for it, but it's not going to help. So it's one of those things that I definitely recommend taking with a grain of salt, but make sure you have clarity on it before you go down that road.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Is the what?
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Is the juice worth the squeeze? Right.
Exactly.
So there's more about that on the blog, icnd.net/scare, if you want to read some more details about it.
We do have also a YouTube video about that as well. I'm going to put it here in the chat, and Mike, maybe you can share that out to all the attendees on the call today afterwards, or if they can't pick it up here. But yeah, there's definitely a great YouTube about the same type of topic that Paul was talking about.
All right, and then real quick, we'll talk about pay-per-click, and this is the only. I'm going to need a bigger soapbox right now.
Hold on.
And this is
got it. It's good.
And so this is kind of a new thing that's been going on with Google, and we've seen a lot of agencies fall victim to it. And before I get into what the issue is, I do want to explain something real quick. So the keywords that you want to go after are not the same as the search terms that people are typing into Google. Now, if that makes sense or not, it will in a second. But if we're talking about, again, we'll just use Myrtle Beach. I want to go after Myrtle Beach vacation rentals. Well, if somebody types in Myrtle Beach vacation rentals with a pool, that's the search term. That's the term that they're going after. The keyword is the word that we are putting in the ad account to go after. So let me no, of course that shows up now. So it's the keyword you'd like to show up for versus what the user types in and your ad actually shows up. Now, if I haven't confused you enough. So I want to show you this one real quick, and I've got this blocked out just for a second, just so we can see this right-hand side here. Now, if we look at this and we see we've got like $13,000 worth of bookings from this, about 5 conversions. This is a weighted number, and then we've got 338 clicks, and the keyword that we have in the account. Well, this is an audit that we did from another agency, but the keyword that was in the account was pretty specific. I mean, Emerald Isle Beach vacation rentals, Emerald Isle Beach. They're all Emerald Isle style vacation rental searches, right?
All variations of the same keyword.
All right. So you would expect that the keywords that would show up, the search terms that would trigger these keywords to show up, you would expect these to be a little bit on par with what that keyword actually is, right? But not anymore. This close variant here, this is Google's new way of thinking it knows better than you. We're just going to call it like that.
Okay.
What we found is that this entire account was littered with these style of I guess organization. And
okay.
My internet just went out and came back.
No, you're there. Yeah, you're there.
Okay. So what happened was we looked at this the account, and we looked at what the search terms actually were. These were the terms that people are actually typing in. And again, this keyword is what triggers this search term. And Google, knowing better than anybody else, this is what they did. Now I have brand here because I'm hiding the brand name of this company, but every single keyword here is the brand name followed by Emerald Isle. Why does this matter? Well, if your account was organized appropriately, you wouldn't have your brand campaign on a very, very high level keyword like Emerald Isle Beach vacation rentals. It's it shouldn't be structured like that. So now we have 4 or 5 different campaigns that are running that are all looking spectacular. They all have a great conversion value, but every single one of those campaigns has a variation of the brand name in it. Of course they're going to convert. They're specifically Googling you with a variation of the city to find you, and it's going to have a great conversion rate. These don't bring in new customers. It brings in people that are already familiar with you. So this is something that you can do yourself. You log into your Google Ads account, and you see this right here, that search terms section. Over on the left, you click on whatever campaign you want to look at, and then you click on the search terms that's underneath keywords. So you should have access to your ads account if anybody's doing ads for you. And it should, whether it's somebody in your company or whatever, it is your asset. So you should be able to log in and see what's going on. Now you're going to see, and you'll probably scroll, you're going to go to search terms, and you're probably going to scroll a lot through a lot of different pages and see all the keywords that are showing up. So again, this is Google's new thing. It's the close variant. It thinks it knows what's best. And sometimes this tactic works, but if you have all great campaigns, they shouldn't all be converting the same way. They should have different conversion rates depending on the type, like if it's a house or if it's a condo, or depending on the city. So I just want to make sure that there's no wool over your eyes when it comes to stuff like that, so that you can be more educated about how well your pay-per-click is actually doing.
And it doesn't hurt, while we're on the topic of looking at your PPC account, it doesn't hurt, once a month, even once a quarter, just take a moment to check it out. I mean, it's yours. You're either having somebody in-house or you're having someone at an agency work your ads for you. So take a minute, familiarize yourself with the account itself, what the search terms are that people are asking for, or what they're typing in, and then what the results are. So, take some time to learn your account as well. All right. So what the optimal relationship looks like between in-house marketing, agency marketing, or a blend of both. What does that look like? So what you want to treat your agency as an extension of your marketing arm. They want to fill in the gaps and holes for things that you aren't able to accomplish, or you just sincerely don't have time to accomplish. Talking with a lot of vacation rental managers over the last few months, there's sometimes bigger things on your minds and your things to do list than your marketing. Unfortunately, Paul and I as marketers always boost marketing to the, in the top thing that you should be doing. But that's just us. We're jaded at that point because we work in, in marketing. But we understand your day is filled with advocacy, housekeeping concerns, staffing concerns, local regulations. And that's maybe taking up a lot of your time, where you could use your marketing agency as an extension of your plan that you want to do with your marketing and help you get things accomplished quicker and faster. You will also want to have open communication and feedback. It's not a set it and forget it. Like I just said, if you have an agency or somebody in-house working on your ads, just don't set it and forget it. Go back to it, look at it once a month, if not once a quarter, make sure that it's in line with what you have. And I really like the phrase that, Paul, that you used a little bit ago. You said you make sure that your account is not littered with keywords that don't make sense or search term, that you want to make sure that you have to do that sweeping and that raking of the account on a continual basis to make sure that you're not littered and flooded with things that just don't make sense because you said it and you forgot it. Also, transparency and reporting. Don't be afraid to ask the why and why, and what did you accomplish? That's kind of the theme here today, is having that transparency and reporting. You have that communication, you know what's going on, you're entrusting an agency to do things for you, and you want to make sure that you are getting what you asked for. What you don't want, too narrow a focus, not just SEO. Instead, work on the conversion rate, site experience, tools, and features. So you want to make sure that you're just not very narrow. You don't want to lose your brand voice in lieu of SEO efforts. This is a big one. You have a voice, you have an idea, you know who your audience are, you want to talk to them a certain way. You just don't want to lose that personality and that personal touch just because of SEO efforts. And you don't want to be too vague in communication. Ask for specifics on tasks, ask the ultimate goal. And I think this goes back and forth as well, as if your agency is asking you to edit or review something, you want to keep that the communication back and forth, so your agency is not just waiting for you to respond 3 weeks later, and maybe what they're proposing is now irrelevant at that time. So you want to, what you ask of them, they may ask of you in return as well, to answer questions that help guide the process and achieve your goals. Okay. So what can you do better than an agency? I don't know, Paul. No, I'm just kidding.
What can we do?
What can we do? No. What can you do? What can vacation rental managers
do?
Yeah. What can vacation rental managers do better than an agency? If you heard me talk before or listened to the podcast, that's our shameless plug, the Vacation Rental Ninja podcast. You know that Google Business Profile is very near and dear to my heart. So my advice here is always stay active on the platform, respond to reviews, both good and bad. And, I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. If you are responding to a bad review, take it offline, or invite that person to contact you at your reservation phone number or your direct email to kind of take that offline so it doesn't create a snowball effect in the comments. With inside your Google Business Profile is fill out your profile to the max. Make sure that that there's a photo in every photo, like a bucket. There's different buckets where you to put photos, where it's your logo, internal photos, external photos, front of building photos, team photos. Make sure that there's photos in every single one of those categories. Make sure all your fields are filled out. Pro tip, I'm just going to add this here on the fly, Paul, but pro tip is Memorial Day is coming. So make sure if your business hours are adjusting or closing for the holiday, please adjust that in your Google Business Profile. Have a dedicated reservationist monitor for messages and FAQs that may be submitted. A lot of times you go look at a profile, there'll be like a question, does does this area have free parking at the beach? Or, do I have to certain lots, community lots? If somebody's asking that, it's because they're coming and they have this question. So make sure there's somebody on staff that is monitoring the FAQ section of your Google Business Profile. It's another way for another reach before somebody comes or after they leave to interact with them. And update new available business attributes. I feel that there's always new business attributes that are coming up, whether it may be women owned and led, handicapped accessible. Is this a historical place? So there's all kinds of attributes that may fit and may not fit your business, but as they come available, you want to see if you can toggle those on for you, and then earn your way into the local map pack as well.
So just got a question. Just got a question from Erica. Yes and no. Basically, with any local search with vacation rentals, Google is now pushing their Google hotel ads, Google vacation rental ads, instead of the regular map pack that we're used to. it's still, even if your map pack isn't sorry, even if even if you don't have any ranking in the map pack, for example, you're a new company, having that information filled out and linked up with your website is part of the SEO process, that Google looks at both that and your website, connects those dots, and gives you more authority.
It's a reassurance that you are who you say you are and you're doing what you say you're doing. It gives those trust signals from Google Business Profile to your website and back and forth.
All right. But yeah, we've seen and that's the even this last, I think 3 months ago, about 2 or 3 months ago, Google stopped showing the map pack for a lot of our clients for some of these more generic searches like condo rentals or house rentals, cabin rentals. You know, it used to just be Outer Banks vacation rentals or Outer Banks rentals, and then all of a sudden you've got the map showing up. Well, they've expanded that, so like industry wide, there's been a downward shift in organic traffic, which is where the map comes in, because it wasn't showing up anymore. Now, there are still some niche search terms that it does show up for whenever you rank your business there. But the other part of it too is whenever you fill that out and you Google your business name, on the right hand side of your desktop, on your desktop computer anyway, or even on mobile, it's right below it. But all that information that populates comes directly from your Google Business Profile. So on the right, you've got your pictures, and you've got your, the Q&A, you've got the business hours, and, just all that stuff. That all directly comes from there. And if you have a full profile, it just looks more professional, and you're on it. So it does win that trust of the user as well. All right.
So we talked a little bit about blogging at the top of the call. And this is something that an agency is great at. Writing remotely, it works. But, like Paul said, we have we have clients internationally. So we're not physically in those locations all the time, as much as we would love to be. So writing remotely does work for your blog, but locals have the inside scoop. So if you can have somebody in-house writing a blog in tandem with a blog writer, that is ideal. I think having somebody in-house writing, as well as somebody from an agency writing, and writing in tandem to cover all the different topics that you like to talk about in your blog. Some other pro tips is, do you have similar pages? Combine them into one. I immediately think of like best things to pack for your vacation. If you've written on that topic several times over the course of multiple years, it may be time to evaluate all those ones on the same topic and combine them into one. I think of great local events. Here in South Carolina, we have the Country Music Festival. Soon we're going to have the Myrtle Beach Classic. So that would be an event that happens every year. When this happens, just create one great post about it, and then update the information, the really specific information, every year as the calendar updates. And I guess a big tip here is change the year. We found that people somehow always forget to change the year if it's in the title of the blog as well. So you did the hard work of updating maybe the location or the times and the dates, but you forgot to take that 2022 to 2023. So make sure you keep that in mind as well.
And on the SEO side of that, having 3 pages dedicated to the Blue Crab Festival that happens every year, if you combine all of those into one and do redirects, you will have more authority on that one topic, rather than having 3 different pages that have 3 different pieces of content. Remember, because Google ranks pages, not websites. So you want that one page that has all the authority built up over the years to be the one that shows up, and don't make Google decide which one out of the 3 to pick.
You want one to be the heavy lifter for it all.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So we do have more in-house specialties as well. This is again stuff that you guys can do, and it's stuff that agencies wouldn't excel at, and it's just kind of how it is, and that's just straight up. But
Oh
TikTok,
no. Mm-mm.
organic posting. That's a tough one for an agency unless they're a local agency that is actively out there getting content for you. TikTok really requires a face, an ambassador, a brand ambassador, like those kinds of accounts really excel. Just having that face, having that person in front of the camera really does wonders. Same thing with going live on social media. We can't go live at your location when we're at a different location, right? And we can't do that regularly, which is what these social media platforms like. So
You have to
stuff like
keep
that
feeding
is,
it.
yeah, you got to keep feeding it. If you want to dedicate that time to it, you got to dedicate that person. But they are great ways to connect with your audience. It's just hard to manage as an agency when you're not on location.
So writing compelling property descriptions, that's also something that, yes, your agency can help you with, but it's a lot better because you're there. You've walked through these homes, you know what they have to offer, you know the recent updates, any changes the owners may have made to them. So being local, able to walk through the property or see the property, talk with the owner of the property, it really helps in writing compelling property descriptions, more of an in-house item than a agency item for sure.
Oh yeah, we can SEO them
Yeah.
once they're written, but it's just one of those things. You got to be there to really have that impact. And then offline marketing in your community as well. Obviously, these are very community driven, but getting your brand presence out there on local events and trade shows, stuff like that, and partnering with local businesses to offer your guests those types of incentives. It's one of those time commitment things, but you got to be local to do it, and better to have the actual representative of the company than a third party agency.
So I always like current guest communication to be done in-house. It just it's somebody that they might have spoken to at the rental office. So I always believe that any guest communication should come from somebody in-house than your agency. Sending a specialized email, utilizing your CRM to segment personal marketing. If somebody's always books 1 week of the year, that year after year they've always booking the same week, sending that personal note to let them know that it's a reminder to book. So I always feel that guest communication should happen from in-house as much as possible. Right. You're the ones there, on the ground.
And along that same line too, that is with social media as well. There's plenty of times. I mean, we manage a lot of social media accounts and post for our clients on Facebook and Pinterest and stuff like that. And, there's plenty of times that a question is asked in the comment section whenever you post something. And we don't know that answer. We don't know what your availability is on that certain day, and if they can, squeeze you in or whatever the question may be. So it is, again, with the Google My Business, it is good to monitor that stuff internally on your own too, so you can swoop in and grab that reservation.
I do see that we have a hand up. So Denise, if you have a question, type it into the chat and we can answer it. I see that you have your hand up. So if you have a burning question, type it in the chat and Paul and I will tackle that for you. All right. And last thing about, for me, for these in-house specialties is, you got to take the time to do these things that we have on this list and many more things. So if you're focused on this, all those other bigger techie things that we talked about at the top of the call, those are things you can kind of move to your agency to take it off your plate and allow you the time and free you up to do these in-house specialties as well. All right.
So, and branded material, promotional material, all that stuff. Your voice, your brand. We can definitely build the website surrounding your style with your brochures and flyers and whatnot. But stuff kind of in-house, bringing that that personal touch to it is something beyond what an agency can do.
All right. All right, here it is. Here's our big download gift to everybody. Paul, you ready to give it away? You're giving it away? Okay.
Giving it away.
Definitely.
Click the button. Don't
No, take a minute, take a screenshot of this, take the URL off the screen here, but this is a great free download. There's 59 items. We always kind of say, why did we do 60? But we like funny numbers. So we have 59 items on here that you can do with yourself. Thank you, Mike. You can do with your in-house agency, your in-house person. You could do with your agency. These are great. The items on this checklist, they're great questions also to ask an agency if you're vetting them. So, we talked a little bit about questions earlier, but these points on this checklist also give you questions to ask when talking with your agency as well.
All right, guys.
All right.
Conclusion.
All right. Oh, we have one more. All right, cool. I don't see any other questions in the chat, but if you have a question, please type it in. We'll be very happy to respond to you. If you have a question for Paul or myself, here's our information. We always say we give a little bit too much away, but nah, it's all good.
Yeah,
we're happy to answer. Yeah, we're always happy to answer anyone's question and help steer them in the right direction.
Great job, guys. We appreciate it. We can stick around if you guys can stick around for a couple minutes, we can see if anyone has any questions.
Sounds good.
We're right on. No, we're right on the time. Yeah, no, Paul, we did it with a minute to spare.
Wow.
Yeah, fantastic.
Cool. With that, any last words before we sign off?
Thank you, everyone who took some time out of their afternoon or morning to join us. Really much, we really appreciate that. As always, Paul said, him and I are open books. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to us directly. Or if you have a question, you can send it through Mike. If you forget our email, and he'll forward it to us. But we're always happy to talk with anyone who has questions or concerns, about their business as well. But thank you again, Mike, to all you and your staff for having us today.
You're welcome, and we appreciate you guys, and we appreciate everyone being here and taking some time out of their day. And with that, we're going to sign off. So have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.